Neville Goddard was a mystic who said we can manifest wealth. Let's take a close look at his ideas and discover for ourselves if we can make them work. Keep watching. Although science can show no direct correlation between positive thinking and manifesting wealth, there are psychological studies that suggest that our thoughts and beliefs play a crucial role in attracting abundance and prosperity into our lives. Neville Goddard was never a psychologist, but he did have an education in ancient mystical teachings, most notably the Kabbalah. His work may well be the perfect marriage between psychology and mysticism. So in this video, I'm going to take a close look at his ideas for manifesting wealth. They're pretty convincing, so let's dive in. Hi, I'm Trevor. I trained as a psychotherapist, and I also got trained as a teacher of metaphysics in the early 90s. At the time, I was searching for a way to sort my life out, and money was one area that was in a big mess, so it really mattered to me that it worked and that I could make it work. These days, I write books and courses and make videos to help people like you attract wealth, abundance, as well as love, success, and happiness. And if you've been to my channel before, you'll know that I have a very no-nonsense approach to the law of attraction. If you'd like a deeper dive into my no woo-woo ideas about manifesting the life you most deeply desire, you can sign up to my Law of Attraction Demystified Club. I'll put a link at the top of the description below this video if you're interested to know more. All right, let's look at Neville's ideas for manifesting wealth and abundance. He had 6 steps. Number 1 is define your objective. Now, that makes sense from every point of view. You can't get somewhere if you don't know where you're going. But I think there's a tripwire here when it comes to manifesting money that we have to look out for. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, well, it's the universe, I'll go big. So they decide they'll win the lottery or somehow become so wealthy that money won't matter anymore. But that's not really your objective, even though I know it feels like it. And I know because I made that mistake many times in the early years. Money is never anyone's objective because by itself, money's useless. Check out Ebenezer Scrooge. He was living like a pauper even though he had plenty of money. He just wasn't spending it. As a result, he was working by the light of a single candle, freezing cold, working every day, including Christmas Day if he could have done, and doing neither himself nor anyone else any good with his money. Once the 3 ghosts had kicked his backside, he became generous overnight. But what was his true objective? Love and connection with other people, family life. So, I agree with Neville, but you must ask yourself what having money would mean. And what would that mean? And why is that important to you? Get really, really clear about your objective. Money will help, but it's never an answer in itself. Next, Neville suggests going into a deeply relaxed state where the mind is more receptive to suggestion. This is what we would now call the alpha state, and one of the best-known pioneers of that receptive state was Jose Silva, founder of the Silva method, which is still around today. Now, Neville wants you to imagine a scene where your desire is fulfilled and to also generate the feeling as though it was real. You're then required to maintain the feeling, living every day as though your desire was fulfilled. Neville emphasized that feeling is the secret to manifestation. Let's take a deeper look at all of those steps. First, if they sound familiar, that's probably because Rhonda Byrne, who created The Secret, was influenced by Neville's teachings, as well as the Abraham Hicks works on which The Secret was largely based. Secondly, I can only speak from my own experience. I tried these steps many thousands of times in dozens of different ways, including studying the Silva method at one time. There are 2 problems with them. First, they're so personal, so subjective, that it's impossible to know if you're doing them right. And secondly, the idea of carrying the feeling around with you into daily life and maintaining it is impossible. How do you feel wealthy when final demand letters are arriving every day? What you feel instead is guilt for messing up the manifestation. You feel frustration and even angry with the universe for not delivering the money before the bill arrived. However, I do think there is a lot in what Neville says, and maybe it's us that's misinterpreted bits of it. Let's take it a bit at a time. Putting your mind into a relaxed state, which you can do easily by simply noticing your thoughts, which detaches you from them, does allow the swirling thoughts of worry about money, for example, to pause, even if only for a second or two. That gap is enough to give universal intelligence, which I'm starting to refer to as UI, incidentally, to come through. That's where ideas come from. It's where a sudden impulse to try something different can pop up. I go into more depth about how to do all of this in this month's Law of Attraction Club video. Check the link in the description for more details about the club and how to join. Next, Neville wants us to make a vivid scene in our mind along with a powerful feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you are someone who can visualize, you're probably going to imagine the desire fulfilled anyway. And if you find making mental images difficult or even impossible, well, you're stuck, aren't you? Over many years, and with a very respectful tip of my hat to Neville, I have never found these steps necessary for manifesting money or anything else. In fact, in trying to do them and the constant wondering and worrying if you've got them right, you almost certainly prevent anything from manifesting. Manifesting is effortless. If you've got a couple of 100 years to spare, watch an acorn become an oak tree and tell me at what point effort is involved. The problem with those techniques is that you have to go up into your head like we used to when we were students trying to revise for exams. The universe doesn't need you to get the answers or techniques right. It's not testing you. And once you've got clear on your objective, it knows where you're going. So let it do its job. In fact, letting go is Neville's last instruction. It seems to me that to do that, you'll need to stop worrying about whether you visualized well enough or if you're still feeling the feeling. Let go. That's effortless. I have another video about how to do that, which I recommend you watch right after this one. I'll put the link up on the screen. Neville's methods are deeply rooted in the belief that imagination creates reality, and that by fully embodying the emotional state of having your desires fulfilled, you can manifest them into your life. But we must be careful here. If your life isn't as you want it right now, the implication is that you've imagined yourself into a state of debt or poverty if money is the issue you're struggling with. In my experience, no one does that, so it makes no sense to assume that imagination is the way out of it. Besides, if you could imagine a way out, you'd take it, wouldn't you? The letting go is right, because the universe will always show you a way out. And getting your objective clear makes sense. I call that setting an intention. But beyond that, you can chill. The universe will lead you out without you having to do a thing. How that happens and how to allow it is the issue we'll explore in more depth in the Law of Attraction Demystified Club video that accompanies this one. As I said, the link for details about the club and how to join is in the description below this video. In the meantime, I hope you found this helpful. Please leave your comments and questions below. I try to respond to them all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon in another video.